right, guys, so you know what's been on my mind? The idea of representation. No matter where we go, I feel like I'm hearing this word, especially in Hollywood. We got black elves, black dwarfs, we got black Ariel, black Anne Boleyn, Hamilton, which started a craze to show America of the past based on America today. And this idea of representation is being hammered into the soft minds of everybody in America.
You'll take what I give you and you'll like it.
As the most important thing that we all need, especially in our young adult lives. I question that. I don't know about the need for representation, but I don't want to be the only one to speak to it. So I've brought on a guest to unpack that idea with me as well. Let's get into it.
Young Apollo with the
All right, so we've got Gothix on the show. You know her, you love her, and I'm sure she has a hot take when it comes to representation, and a take she's probably not supposed to have based on the way that she looks. We all love to make judgments based on the way that people look these days, and I'm sure she shocks many when she comes out against the idea of representation. So Gothix, I'm gonna throw it over to you and give me your ideas as far as whether or not representation matters.
Okay, yeah, sure. So first of all, I've heard that phrase so many times that it just makes me want to gag. Like, I'm so sick of hearing representation. And personally, I think representation is absolutely useless because number one, I think it encourages collective thinking and in this idea that if I see someone on TV, if I see someone in a field that looks like me, then that means that I can relate to someone or they're my inspiration. And the way that I look at it is I think if we really want to talk about representation, that's where someone's parents comes from. Like that should be the representation, someone that you look up to. And I think that I think it's very narcissistic too, where it's like, why do you feel entitled to have yourself represented in any type of field? Because if you really want to see that representation, why don't you go out and do it yourself? Is my question, instead of complaining about it.
100%. And when I was growing up, was told so much how representation matters and, you know, seeking out black characters for me to watch and all this different stuff. And I really do think it comes down to what you said. It really does come down to your parents. How are they teaching you? Are they a real role model for you? Are they teaching you that you can do and be anything regardless of what you see on the television? Because for me, it doesn't help to turn on The Little Mermaid and see a black Ariel and go, oh, now I know that I could be a Disney princess if I really wanted to be. And I understand it. It's fine. It doesn't upset me to see something like that. But it feels like a little dig at the intelligence and the emotional aspects that we go through in life, and these corporations just trying to utilize that to their benefit. It's not because they actually care, in my opinion. It's because they get to run a whole media campaign about how they did this and how they put a black person in the film. When I watched Wakanda Forever, there was multiple characters of like these young black females who are extremely intelligent, and they look at it in the film as if it's the most wondrous thing that they found a black woman who's intelligent. And in the marketing of the film, they go, oh, she's a black genius, a black genius, a black genius. We've never seen something like this before, as if we're incapable of reaching these heights on our own. But I do think there's maybe an element where, as a child, did you ever think, oh, I would love to be that character, but I can't because of my skin color? Was that something that ever crossed your mind?
Not at all. I watched Ariel was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. I loved Ariel. I never saw skin color. But if I was ever in that predicament where I'm like, wow, I feel like that would be me asking for permission to be a princess or something like that in this pretend land of being a child. Like, why am I trying to ask for permission to do that? And to see adults sort of seek representation is even more concerning, because why do you need someone to say, okay, now you can do it. Just do it.
Right. And I saw a lot of parents coming through when the whole Black Little Mermaid thing happened, and they were sitting their little 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds in front of the TV to watch it. And you saw all these videos come out on TikTok and Instagram of these black children sitting up and looking at this black Ariel. And I think on its face, it's a very cute and it makes your heart feel good to watch something like that. But beyond that, I think the underbelly of it is you're teaching your child that things don't exist if they don't see themselves in it, and that the skin color is the most important thing you're going to find when looking out into the world and when looking for role models, and you're setting them up for failure in a lot of ways. Not only because it's not true and you can be things without somebody of your skin color doing that before you, but also not all Black people are great, okay? Not all white people are great. Not all Hispanic people are great. And to simply put a blanket statement or a hasty generalization that because they're Black, there's goodness there, can be really harmful to children's judgment.
It is very harmful because you're not showing anything else about that character. Like, I want to know, how do they think? I think that's the most important thing. You know, when I just see I have never fell for this representation thing, because whenever I see it, I'm just like, what is the movie going to be good? Is the actress going to be good? Like, that is the story going to be good? And very often when I see a lot of these representation roles being implemented in Hollywood, I'll watch the movie and I'm like, what is this trash? It's just not a good movie. But they think they can just cash in with representation and call it a day.
Exactly. And I remember as a kid, like, I loved Mulan. I loved Beauty and the Beast. And it wasn't because of their skin color. I liked Mulan because I thought she was like a badass chick that was willing to fight with guys. And I was like, you know what? I'm a tomboy. I want to do that too. I loved Belle because she was a big reader and I loved to read as a kid. And skin color had nothing to do with my connection to these characters. It was all value-based. It was all about individuality and what I saw in them. And now we're getting Black representation in film, but it's the same Black person over and over and over and over. They care about the same things. They talk the same way. They throw in some like hyper intelligence just to make sure that you don't think we're bigoted. We know that Black people can be smart, and we're not really getting any diversity of thought. And now when I watch even commercials these days, like I watch a Home Depot commercial, and we know who's shopping at Home Depot for the most part. It's like white, middle-aged men.
Pretty nice little Saturday. We're gonna go to Home Depot. Yeah.
For the most part. And Home Depot will come out with the commercial of like two Black, gay, trans fathers who are cooking a meal with their Home Depot grill for their somehow Chinese adopted daughter. I don't know. And it just feels like it's being shoved down my throat. Are you feeling that too? Or am I just like going crazy?
Oh, no, it's definitely intentional. I mean, if I can use an example of why they're doing this, it's like I said, they're trying to just encourage people to think as a collective. And if we just look back the last couple of years, like Black Lives Matter, for example, look how many people co-signed on that, didn't care about what the context was about any of those cases that people were protesting about, didn't care to know where the money was going. They didn't care to know about the agendas on the BLM website. All they saw was Black, got to take care of the Black people, got to fight for the Black people. And that's what they want you to see. They don't want you to see context. They want you to see color, because color makes you easier to manipulate.
Yes, and they're Black business, Black created movies that you'll see on like Netflix, Hulu, Prime. They're just quite literally creating segregation in this collectivist lens and then shoving it down people's throats and telling people that you have to support it. And it's interesting that Black people make up like 13% of the population. Now when I'm watching films and all of this stuff, it's like they make up 30 to 40% of all films, and it's clearly not a direct representation of the population there. And it seems to be focused on Black people. They don't do it so much with Hispanic people. They don't do it so much with Asian people. And to me, that signals that you don't really care about minority status, because those are two other forms of minorities within this population. You care about minorities that you feel bad for. And people pity the Black community and feel like they need a boost up. And that has been the soft bigotry of low expectations, although I think it's just hard bigotry at this point. They're throwing it in our faces.
Yeah, representation to me is like affirmative action for Black people, and it's
Yep.
like what these people don't understand is if you count on representation to uplift Black voices, people are gonna get so sick because I've noticed the thing too, where every single 5 seconds I'm seeing Black people on TV. I'm like, what is going on? And now I have to ask myself, did this person get this role because they were good at acting, or did they get this role because they looked the part? And
Yep.
if I was in that predicament, I would feel like crap knowing that I was just like an affirmative action actress. I don't know.
Right.
The
I met a
diversity higher.
guy. Yeah, I met a guy who went to Yale, and this Black guy went to Yale Law School, and he was a left-leaning guy. He started talking about how he's so pro affirmative action and that these schools need representation and all of these things. And he goes deeper into his story, and he says, yeah, I got a lot of shit for being at Yale. I felt like people were looking at me and saying, oh, you just got in because you're Black. And then I started to think I got in because I'm Black. And I looked at him and thought, yet you're still supporting affirmative action. Do you think that's good? Do you think that's a good climate to create, not only for yourself, but for everybody around you? And we are two Black people talking right now, and even we see it, and we do it, and we go, I don't know whether or not you got that based on your own merit. And if this continues and it grows, it's just going to create an even more racist climate, because we're all going to be judging each other based on these stupid, superficial characteristics rather than anything else. And I don't know when it stops. Like, when is it enough representation? Do you know?
No, I mean, I've asked this several times, like, give me a number, give me a percentage that you need to see represented in a field so we can finally stop talking about this. And the thing is I'll never get an answer, because there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of egos to be satisfied. And yeah, for me personally, I don't even shop. If I see a shop that says Black owned business, I don't shop there. Because I have in the past, and I've bought some things and they lasted a week before they broke. Again, tells me nothing about anything about your business.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And that sounds like people would hear that and be like, that is so racist of you to say that. But now when I see people who run things based on their skin color and nothing else, I'm like, I don't want to support you. I actually don't support the values that you're putting forth into the world, that you should be able to skate through or get this extra bonus or extra bit of love for being a Black owned business. That means nothing to me. In fact, you're contributing to the problem in my view of things. But people don't really see that far. I think they just see it as something that's beneficial that they could slap on their business, and that will help them gain customers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think your business will speak for itself. Like, can I give you a little example? Another example
Yeah, go
here?
for it.
All right. So my husband and I, we wanted to order some takeout. We go on one of these food ordering apps, and they have a section Black owned restaurants. So I said, okay, let's see what they got. We're searching. We find a fried chicken place. We want some chicken. We click on it, we order, we get it. The worst chicken we ever tasted. This is a Black owned. So again, you want to think as a collective, you want the stereotype, and then you can't even deliver a good product. What is happening?
And fried chicken of all things.
Of all things, we're so upset.
Oh my gosh, you mean to tell me that the Black owned sticker did not make the food taste good?
No, exactly. That's exactly what it means. Yeah.
It didn't make the movie more watchable. It didn't make the clothes last longer. It's such bullshit. Pardon my French. And I don't know what's to be done. Do you feel like I always start to feel a little bit optimistic just to close out here and feel like, okay, Black people, we know Black people have super high self-esteem. Like, this has been studied. I think higher self-esteem than any other race. They're very prideful, and that can be good and bad. But you would think those elements of characteristics, for the most part, I don't want to say it's shared amongst all, because we're talking about that as we speak, but you would think those characteristics would make you look at times that you're being utilized for other people's benefit and go, actually, you know what? I don't need that. And I see you viewing me as lesser, and I see you treating me as lesser, and I'm actually gonna, dip out, not to the other side of the aisle, but to just go, I feel like you are manipulating me a little bit. And it seems as though we are starting to wake up. Black people are starting to recognize that there's a little bit of manipulation happening here. Do you feel like we're on the up and up there, or we're still sitting in the middle?
I mean, I guess in some ways, I think Black people are waking up. In some ways, I would say no. I think that, yeah, I do agree. There's a lot of people that are too prideful, and a prideful person isn't going to care about criticism. They're going to think that they're perfect. There's no room for improvement. I think personally, I think pride is the worst trait that a person could have. But I think some people are starting to see that, a friendly smile and a nice compliment doesn't necessarily mean that someone has you in their best interest. Sometimes the people that will try to take advantage of you are the ones that will agree with everything that you have to say. And I think that more people are coming to terms with that, just to be a little bit more cautious about, just the way that society is in general. I think we've diluted, like, for example, hate speech and racism so much that, like, now you don't even know what's what anymore. It's like, oh, they agree with me. They must like me. They must like my product.
Yeah, man, now it's a microaggression to say anything to anybody that has a certain skin color. It's
a micro. Why are we talking about it?
Yeah, right. If it's micro, why are we talking about it? Gothix, thank you so much for your thoughts on this subject. Where can people follow you to find out more? Because you talk about these concepts and these ideas at length.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, on Rumble, Gothix TV.
Nice. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Guys, if you like this, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time we post a video for you, which is every day, because we hustle over here at this Black-owned business. And please support us because we're Black. We no. This is like no. Guys, you know what we really mean. Thank you so much. Leave a comment down below if your thoughts on this. Do you feel like the representation is being shoved down your throat? And is it making you judge people? Because that's a problem that I don't think enough people are talking about. Just the inherent judgment that is going to grow out of these times. So comment that down below and make sure you go check out Gothix's channel and leave a comment on her page as well.